Module 3, ladder selection, types and accessories. There are many types of ladders. We've got leaning ladders, they can be single or polar extension, step ladders, telescopic ladders, combination and multi-purpose ladders, roof ladders, vertical fixed hooped ladders, ladders for a specific purpose, example loft ladders, conservatory access ladders. Ladders are often made of various materials which further impacts their use. Wood ladders, they can still be used if they're in a safe condition. That's the same for all ladders, of course. And many conform to the previous standard for ladders, which was BS 2037. This is UK. Aluminium ladders, they're more resistant to the effects of weather. We often see fiberglass ladders in use, often used when there is a risk of electrical conduction. The important thing is that providing ladders are made to the current standards, while this isn't a legal requirement, it is accepted industry practice, and it does help to ensure that legal responsibilities are met. So let's look at the ladder standards. In the UK and Europe, ladders provided for work should meet the current standard, that is EN 131. The BS there is British Standard, so that's the British version of EN 131. Within 131, there are two general designations for ladders. This is professional, those for professional use, and non-professional use. Both have the same load rating for 150 kilograms, but the ladder for professional use has been tested to a higher degree of durability. Also, that 150 kilograms, that includes the user, it includes the equipment and any ancillaries they're carrying. So any equipment they're carrying, any ancillaries as well. Ladders under some of the old standards can still be used if the ladders remain in good condition. So ladder standards. So the photograph you can see there is taken from the Ladder Association. I'll show you a little bit more on the Ladder Association in a minute, but let's have a look at that. So ladder standards. Ladders provided for work should meet the current standard. Again, I've put this in yellow, it's been highlighted. That is the EN 131 standard. When we look here, we can see the withdrawn standards for domestic, trade and industrial use. So the old standards, they've been withdrawn, and the current standard is, as stated, EN 131. You can see there it gets split down to non-professional and professional. So if you look at the Ladder Association website, this is such a really good resource. They also do some very in-depth, really technical and excellent courses as well. So this is the Ladder Association. I referred to them a few slides back in the previous module about the Ladder Association providing industry guidance. So we had the criminal law, we had the Health and Safety at Work Act, we had the management regs, we had the PUA regs, the provision and use of work equipment regs, and we had the working at height regs. We also had the industry guidance, the guidance provided by the HSE, and then I made reference to the Ladder Association guidance. So this is a really good resource, and I do recommend that you take a look at this resource. And they do, interestingly, they do membership and membership cards as well. So very good resource. You can download updated guidance, and they've got an excellent area in there for frequently asked questions on ladders. So a really good resource, really worth looking at. So the BS EN 131, so that's 131, standard applies to single and extension ladders, step ladders, telescopic ladders, combination ladders, and also there are a variety of ancillary devices available to improve ladder safety. So these fall under ladder accessories. So just looking there on the left hand side, ladder mats. Earlier on, we looked at the individual who fell from a ladder, the case study, and the ladder was not made secure. It doesn't say whether the ladder slipped, whether it slid to the side or slipped, we don't know, but certainly ladder mats are provided to ensure and assist with stability. Same as stabilizers, we can see there. Levelers. So levelers can be used if the ladder is obviously dependent on the ground conditions. We'll be very careful, again, subject to a robust risk assessment and training and maintenance on the ladder itself. We have standoffs. So here we can see a ladder leading up against what looks like a girder. So we have V standoffs, so they can fit around the girder, and normal standoffs, as we can see with the gutter in. We also have the extension ladder, sort of for the rope pulley kit. And we have some industry solutions. That's quite a good picture there depicting an industry solution. So we have a rope grab device, which is attached to the user's body, attached to his body harness with a carabiner. The ladder here we can see is secured using a wall anchor. And the rope is secured to the ladder with a rope grab device. This allows free movement up and down the ladder, but it also locks on the rope should a fall occur. So let's have a quick look at that industry solution. This video is provided by Tetra. There is a link in the early modules. He's attached the rope and then he's positioning the ladder against the wall. He's drilling and inserting a bolt. This is the wall anchor. Ensuring that is secure. So now he's attaching the ladder yoke and strap, and then he's going to pull that tight to ensure that's pulling the ladder into the wall to assist with the stability. And now he's tying the rope to the ladder and he's going to attach the rope grab. Another good resource, Tetra. Go onto their website, you can see their solutions. Now he's attaching the rope to the rope grab and then up the ladder. Again, if he falls, that's going to lock. Quite windy conditions there, it appears, as well. So that is one of the industry solutions, the rope grab device. Telescopic ladders. So these ladders, they can be a suitable option, particularly if space for transporting a ladder is very limited. They help because the length can be varied to suit the working height. As with all ladders, always refer to the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer instructions are the go-to place when starting a risk assessment. Under Section 6 of the Health and Safety at Work Act, that refers to manufacturers. So if we're doing a risk assessment, we want to be involved in the people, of course, but also utilise the manufacturer's instructions that come with the ladder. They're going to be specific. Care must always be taken to ensure that the ladder is locked into position before climbing. Often there are visual indicators on the ladder, but again, you're going to, the first port of call is the manufacturer's instructions. Combination ladders. So these types of ladders offer flexibility of use as a step ladder or an extension ladder, or also an added extension section from the A-frame. So you can see a number of configurations there. They can also be used on steps and stairs. We mentioned this earlier on about what is and what is not working at height. So if you can fall a distance and you will receive personal injury, then you are working at height. Again, if you are working at height and you're using one of these ladders and you're using it on a stairs, this is robust risk assessment. This is robust training and supervision. Which ladder and ancillary device? So what is going to help us make that decision? Straight away, we're going back to that risk assessment. You'll hear me say regularly, all roads lead back to the risk assessment. In this case, working at height risk assessment, falling under Regulation 3 of the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulations 1999. Some considerations is the working height. So which ladder? Do we need an extension ladder? What size is the step ladder? Again, we're going to take that into consideration as part of the risk assessment. The ground conditions for definite. This also we've got to be considering there, is the ladder going to slip out? Is it going to slip to the side? Is it unstable? Is it undulating? What is the ground conditions? Is it on gravel? Is it on a polished surface? A very important one, overhead hazards such as power lines and other cables. We do not want that ladder conducting electricity and providing us with an electric shock. As I just said there, the type of work. If we're working with electrics, we're going to be needing to think about the type of ladder. The workspace and portability. We just looked at the extension ladders there. Think of really long, heavy ladders. How many people are carrying the ladders? All of this is part of the risk assessment. Task requirements, which is what we've been talking about. Example, whether you need access to a loft and the existing features that are actually within the area of the activity. Sometimes a ladder is not a suitable solution. When it is an appropriate option, the correct ladder must be selected. So important. You should never make do with whatever ladder is available. If that has been the case, as you can see here for these photographs, you need to be questioning the person in charge of the work. Remember, under Section 7 of the Health and Safety at Work Act, certainly in the UK, we have responsibilities as employees ourselves to take care of our own health and safety, and also for our acts and omissions. So the overarching key message from Module 3 is that ladders that are provided for work must conform to the current standards and also be suitable for the task and the work environment. We did say if you have ladders that conform to the previous standards, as long as they are fit for purpose, they are safe to use, then you can use those also. And some of the key points, remember, take note of the yellow writing because they will probably come up as questions. There are many types of ladders that we looked at, and they're made of various materials. The wooden ladders, fiberglass and aluminium were some of the ones we discussed. The current ladder standard is EN 131. That is BS EN 131 if you're looking at or reading the British version of the standard. And they cover both professional and non-professional ladders. The maximum load rating for both is 150 kilograms. But remembering, this weight includes the weight of the user, it includes the weight of their tools and any equipment and materials they are carrying. Very important for the risk assessment element. Ladders conforming to the previous standards can be used if they're in good condition. Leaning ladders, step ladders, telescopic and combination ladders are within the scope of the current standards. And we've got various ancillary devices provided to aid the safe use. Example, standoffs, ladder mats, levelling attachments we looked at. Some considerations for ladder selection: the working height, the ground conditions, overhead hazards and the type of work we're doing, the available space and task requirements, and finally, we should never use a ladder that is not suitable for the task. That ends Module 3. Good luck with the questions.